My stepsister convinced my mom that we should get married to connect the family, and now she's trying to trap me by getting pregnant. I never thought I'd be posting something like this, but I'm in a situation that's beyond weird and getting downright terrifying. I'm a 29-year-old guy, and my 25-year-old stepsister, Lily, has convinced my mom that we should get married to unite our families. It was strange enough when they first brought it up, but now Lily's taken things to a whole new level that I didn't see coming. I feel like my life is spiraling out of control, and I don't know what to do. To give some context, my parents divorced when I was 14, and it wasn't a pleasant experience. My dad remarried quickly, but my mom stayed single for years. About 5 years ago, she met Roger, and they got married pretty fast. Roger's a decent guy, and I was happy for my mom, but he came with a daughter, Lily. Lily and I were both adults when our parents got married, so we didn't grow up together. We were friendly but not close. It was more like being acquaintances who happened to share a family. Fast forward to a few months ago when things started to get strange. Lily began showing up at my place more often, and at first, I thought she was just trying to build a sibling relationship. But then she started making these odd comments about how well we got along and how great it would be if we were even closer. I didn't think much of it until one night, after dinner at my place, she dropped a bombshell. You know, if we got married, it would bring the family together. I was stunned. I laughed it off, thinking she was joking, but she was dead serious. I told her that was never going to happen, that I didn't see her that way, and that it was just wrong. But she kept insisting, saying it was what our parents wanted, and that it was what was best for the family. When I told her to drop it, she got this weird, determined look and said, "We'll see." It turns out she wasn't just talking to me about this. Lily had already been in my mom's ear, convincing her that a marriage between us would unite the family in a way nothing else could. My mom, to my absolute shock, was completely on board with the idea. She started making comments about how perfect we were for each other, how it was destiny that we were brought together as step-siblings. The more I tried to shut it down, the more they pushed. I've always had a good relationship with my mom, but this was starting to create a serious rift between us. I would go to visit her, and instead of our usual chats about life or work, the conversation would inevitably turn to Lily. My mom kept dropping hints, like how sweet Lily was, how much she cared about me, and how she just wanted what was best for the family. It was getting to the point where I was avoiding my own mother, just to escape the constant pressure, but things took a horrifying turn when I realized just how far Lily was willing to go. I started noticing that after Lily would visit, things would be off in my apartment. At first, I couldn't put my finger on it, but then I found out what she was doing. I discovered that she had been collecting used condoms from my trash after I had hookups with other women. She was taking them, who knows how long she'd been doing this, and I was mortified when I realized why. One night, after she left, a used condom in my bathroom trash that was missing. I freaked out and confronted her, asking if she had been taking them. She didn't even try to deny it. She just smiled and said, "I'm just helping things along. You'll thank me one day." I was horrified. I didn't know what to do. I tried to tell myself that maybe I was overreacting, that she couldn't actually do anything with them. But deep down, I knew she was trying to get pregnant in a desperate attempt to force me into marrying her. I called my mom, hoping she'd understand the gravity of the situation and finally help me put an end to this insanity. But instead, she said, "If Lily's pregnant, it would just make things easier. You'd have to do the right thing." I couldn't believe it. My own mother was basically saying that she wanted me to marry my stepsister and raise a child with her. I was furious, scared, and disgusted all at once. I told her that this was sick and that I wanted nothing to do with it. She accused me of being selfish and ruining the family. After that conversation, I blocked both Lily and my mom on everything. I couldn't deal with them anymore. But it turns out I was too late. Just a couple of days later, I got a message from an unknown number. It was Lily. She said she was pregnant and that I was the father. I felt like my world was collapsing around me. I didn't want to believe her, but she insisted it was true. I haven't seen any proof yet, but I'm terrified that she's telling the truth. I can't wrap my head around the idea that she might have actually managed to get pregnant by stealing my used condoms. I'm angry, disgusted, and completely lost. I have no idea what to do next. Part of me wants to go to the police, but I don't even know what I'd tell them. I'm scared that if she is pregnant, I'll be trapped in this nightmare forever. I never imagined something like this could happen to me, and I don't know where to turn. Reddit, I need your advice. What do I do? How do I get out of this? Please, help me. Update 1. Hey Reddit, I'm back with an update, and I really wish I had better news. After my last post, I tried to put some distance between myself and my family to get my head on straight. I stopped answering Lily's calls and texts, and I made excuses to avoid my mom. But that only seemed to make things worse. They both started showing up at my apartment, unannounced, trying to talk things out. I couldn't believe the lengths they were going to, and it's starting to make me feel like I'm losing my mind. Last weekend, my mom called me and insisted that we have a family dinner to discuss the future. I didn't want to go, but I figured I could use it as an opportunity to put an end to all this once and for all. When I got there, it was clear that something was up. My mom and Roger were acting strange, like they were expecting something big to happen. And then I noticed that Lily was already there, dressed like she was going to a fancy event, not just a casual family dinner. As soon as we sat down, my mom launched into this long speech about how family is everything and how sometimes we have to make sacrifices for the greater good. She kept looking at me and Lily, and I knew exactly where this was going. Sure enough, she started talking about how perfect it would be if Lily and I got married, and how it would unite our families in a way that nothing else could. I'd had enough. I told her, in no uncertain terms, that this was never going to happen, that Lily and I didn't see each other that way, and that their obsession with this idea was making me want to cut them out of my life altogether. But instead of backing down, my mom just sighed and said, "You'll understand when you're older. This is what's best for all of us." Lily, on the other hand, just smiled like she knew something I didn't. It was unsettling, to say the least. I tried to get up and leave, but my mom practically begged me to stay. She said that we needed to resolve this as a family, and that leaving would only make things worse. Against my better judgment, I stayed, but I made it clear that I wasn't going to change my mind. And then, the conversation took a turn I never expected. Lily started talking about how much she cared about me, and how she knew that deep down, I cared about her too. She said that she was willing to do whatever it took to make this work, and that we could build a life together if I'd just give it a chance. I told her that she was out of her mind, that this was never going to happen, but she just kept pushing. Finally, I snapped. I told them both that they were insane, that this whole idea was twisted, and that I was done with it. I got up to leave, but as I was walking out, Lily grabbed my arm and whispered, "You don't have to decide now. I'll give you time. But know this, I'm not giving up." That was it for me. I went home and blocked both of them on everything. I haven't spoken to them since, but I know it's only a matter of time before they find another way to try and manipulate me. I feel like I'm being backed into a corner, and I don't know how much longer I can keep this up. Update 2. Hey Reddit, I wish I could say things have gotten better, but they've only gotten more twisted. I've been trying to stay away from my mom and Lily, but they're not making it easy. They've been relentless, and it's gotten to the point where I'm seriously considering moving just to get away from all this. A few days ago, I came home from work to find my mom waiting for me outside my apartment. She looked distraught, and before I could even ask what was wrong, she started crying and saying that she was sorry. She said she hadn't realized how much this was affecting me and that she wanted to make things right. I was skeptical, but I let her in so we could talk. We sat down, and she started going on about how she'd been talking to Lily and how they both just wanted what was best for the family. I told her again that marrying Lily was not what was best for anyone, and that they needed to drop this idea once and for all. She nodded, saying she understood, but then she dropped another bombshell on me. She told me that Lily had been struggling with her feelings and that she was worried about her. She said that Lily had been talking about how much she wanted to have a family, how she felt like time was running out, and how she'd do anything to make it happen. I asked her what she meant by that, and my mom hesitated before saying, "She really loves you. I think she's hoping that if she got pregnant, you'd come around." I was stunned. My own mother was basically telling me that Lily was planning to trap me by getting pregnant, and she was saying it like it was a perfectly normal thing to do. I told her that if Lily tried anything like that, it would be the end of any relationship we had, family or not. My mom just sighed and said that she hoped it wouldn't come to that, but that she couldn't control what Lily did. I kicked her out of my apartment and have been avoiding her calls ever since. But the worst part came a few days later when I found out that Lily had somehow gotten into my apartment while I was at work. I don't know how she did it, maybe she had a spare key from when she used to visit, but she had been there, and she had left something behind. In my bathroom, I found a box of condoms, my condoms, that had been tampered with. Some of them were missing, and the ones that were left had tiny holes poked in them. I couldn't believe what I was seeing. Lily had actually gone through with her insane plan to try and trap me. I don't know what to do anymore. I've changed the locks, I've blocked them both, but I feel like I'm living in a nightmare. I'm scared to go to the police because I don't know if they'll take me seriously, and I'm worried about what Lily and my mom will do next. I've been thinking about moving, but I don't even know if it will be enough to get away from them. I'm at my wit's end, Reddit. This has gone way beyond anything I ever could have imagined, and I'm starting to feel like there's no way out. If anyone has any advice, I'm begging you, please help me. I don't know how much more of this I can take. Update 3. Hey Reddit, this will be my last update because I've finally reached a breaking point, and I'm making some drastic decisions to protect myself. Things have spiraled completely out of control, and I've realized that the only way to get out of this situation is to take drastic action. After my last update, things escalated even further. Lily kept sending me messages about the baby, claiming she wanted to work things out for the sake of the child. She even sent me an ultrasound photo, but something about it seemed off. I did some digging and found that the image was a generic one she'd probably found online. That gave me a glimmer of hope that maybe she was lying about the pregnancy altogether. But the relief was short-lived. A couple of days after that, I got served with papers. Lily was suing me for child support, claiming I was the father of her unborn child. The papers included a demand for a paternity test once the baby is born. My lawyer said that this would be my chance to prove that I'm not the father if her pregnancy is even real. But I can't shake the fear that she might still find a way to manipulate the situation. In the meantime, my mom has only doubled down on her stance, insisting that I need to accept my responsibility and marry Lily. She's been trying to rally the rest of the family behind her, and I've gotten calls from relatives I haven't spoken to in years, all telling me to do the right thing. It's like they've all been brainwashed into thinking this is some noble cause instead of the nightmare it really is. I've reached my limit. I've realized that I can't keep living like this, constantly looking over my shoulder, waiting for the next insane thing to happen. I've decided to move far away, to a place where none of them can find me. I'm changing my name, cutting off all contact, and starting fresh somewhere new. I've already put in my notice at work and found a place in another state. I'm planning to leave by the end of the week, and once I'm gone, I'm cutting ties with everyone connected to this nightmare. I know it sounds extreme, but I don't see any other way out. I'm terrified of what Lily might do next, and I can't trust my own mother anymore. If it turns out that Lily really is pregnant and somehow I'm the father, I'll deal with it through the legal system from a safe distance. But I can't stay here.